Well, nobody wants to be scammed out of their hard-earned money, but nowadays scammers are taking advantage of any and all technologies in your life, including your phone.
The latest scam, people are claiming to be a part of the Drug Enforcement Agency. Add to that the recent scam involving the Internal Revenue Service, and in both cases you are threatened if you don't pay them now.
I was a little nervous. I thought to myself, what did I do?
Jen Levison is not in trouble with the law, but this call definitely caught her attention.
This is Special Agent Al calling in directly from the DEA Drug Enforcement Administration. At your earliest convenience, you should get in contact with us. If it is not a possibility that we're able to reach you over the phone, a court warrant will be issued for your arrest.
An experienced blogger, Jen went online and quickly saw this was a scam where the caller would say you broke the law and by sending in money, all would be forgiven. Then Jen decided to call back from a blocked number.
Actually, during those 4 minutes, it sounded like somebody was pushing some buttons. And she came on after 4 minutes and told me she couldn't pull up my file and could I call back from a non-blocked phone number.
Jen did not unblock her phone number, and the call quickly came to an end when Jen asked one more question.
I said, no, let me ask you a question. And she said, yes, ma'am. I said, how do you sleep at night? And she said, very comfortably.
The Justice Department says calls asking for payment of any kind are simple extortion rings.
It's very threatening.
Jim Banks is a tax preparer and has had several of his clients get a similar call from someone claiming to be with the Internal Revenue Service asking for money.
The IRS does not call demanding payment. It's a scam.
The Justice Department says if you get a call like that, you should just refuse the demand and report the threat.
Well, there's another scam aimed at getting your money. This time, the crooks pretend to be from the local police department. Officers said the caller told the victim they'd been caught on camera running a red light. This scammer said the only way to avoid getting in trouble was to buy a prepaid credit card and then give the information over the phone. Anonymous callers are telling victims there is a warrant out for their arrest, and some people are concerned others will fall for it.
People do anything, you know, to get money out of people. It's a shame that people do stuff like that.
That's not right. Hope they catch a guy.
It makes no sense. I mean, people need to, not let their guard down.
Police say they would never ask for any payments over the phone. That's one of the biggest giveaways that someone is trying to scam you.
Now, there are many scammers hard at work all across the country, but what should we be looking out for here on Delmarva? Joining us today to help with that is Lieutenant Tim Robinson of the Wicomico County Sheriff's Office. Thank you so much for helping us out this afternoon.
It's good to be back.
So what are some of the most common scams you're seeing around
Well,
here?
we have seen the scam where somebody calls from the IRS demanding immediate payment and telling the people on the other end that if you don't pay now, they are going to be sending the sheriff trying to scare somebody into making a payment.
So that's the most popular
We
one.
have seen it. We haven't seen a lot of it, only a couple times. The most popular scams right now are targeting some of the older members of our population, where somebody will call up and say they're their grandson or their great nephew and they're in jail or they're under arrest somewhere on the other side of the country. They've been involved in a serious accident where somebody's died or what have you, and they need immediate bail money now, trying to prey on the idea that grandmother does not want to see grandson go to jail.
That happened to my mother. Someone called and tried to scam her. She asked the scammer their birth date, and that's where it ended.
And that's one thing we recommend is to start asking those pertinent questions and check with your family members to see if the individual in question really is traveling through that state. We had one individual where the woman went and gave money, then called her daughter and found out that her grandson was okay and well in college up in wherever he was supposed to be at.
So who do you think is most vulnerable here?
Unfortunately, they'll try to attack people that are very trusting, and some of the older members of our community are very trusting. They don't believe that somebody would threaten them, or this has to be legitimate because they haven't seen anything like this before. Another thing is they prey on individuals' sense of excitement. I don't want to use the word greed or anything, but they'll call up, and we saw several of these where they'll call up and pretend to be Publishers Clearinghouse, and that you've just won. One in particular, they called up somebody and got them to go get that prepaid card and give them the number, and once they realized they had somebody, a live one on the hook, so to speak, they called back and they said, we made a mistake. Not only did you realize you did qualify, but we made a mistake. You actually qualified for a higher prize and more cash. So we need you to go pay a higher fee now. It was our mistake, but just get this because they realized they got somebody in line. The individual goes and gets another card because they're told they have to pay this fee to collect their winnings.
So how can we protect ourselves from these scams?
Well, the easiest thing to remember is if you really won a contest, nobody's going to put a fee on you to collect your winnings. And two, you need to ask yourself, did I enter this contest to begin with? A lot of people, you cannot enter a contest that you don't win. Or you can't, you can't win a contest. Oh, geez.
That you don't enter. Okay. So do you guys ever actually go to a house to arrest somebody on a
red light camera?
On a red light camera?
No, we're not going to do that. They're going to receive notice through the mail that just the same thing like if you didn't pay a bill.
Right.
Your bill is behind. You must pay this. You're going to get a couple of notices. And what will eventually happen if you don't pay it, then they put a lien on your registration in your car.
Oh, okay.
Is there any way to know for sure positively if something is a scam or not?
Really, you have to use your gut instinct. When we tell people if it's too good to be true, it normally is. If somebody's trying to sell you that you want a prize, or if somebody's using a lot of pressure telling you must pay now. Right. Because no legitimate government agency or law enforcement agency is going to put that kind of pressure on you. It's going to start with a letter. That's what's always going to start with a letter. Okay. And it's going to start with personal contact. Nobody's going to be calling you demanding an immediate payment.
So look for these obvious
things.
And
it's not even the procedure. That if they do want payment, they're going to ask you to send a check. They're not going to try to get payment over the phone and pressure you into that.
All right. Good information. And of course, if you would like some more information on the latest scams and how to protect yourself from becoming a victim, all you have to do is visit our website, WBOC.com, click on our picture at the top of the page. Now, you just heard some of the ways you can be scammed.
Isn't it nice to know law enforcement is looking out for these and any new scams that could pop up? Officers like Cosmonatos. He says he's seen hundreds of scams before, none quite like this one. Officer Menedos got a call from a woman claiming her father was a victim of a publisher's clearinghouse scam, just like the one Tim just mentioned. In the scam, the 24-year military veteran was told he had won $2.5 million and a 2015 Mercedes. The man, thinking that he was paying taxes for his prizes, first sent money to California. The scammers then got him to send $20,000 in cash to Connecticut, money that he took out in a loan. Now, fortunately, Officer Menedos was able to call a police department in Connecticut where they intercepted the payment before it reached the scammers.
This is one of those 1 in a million cases where we're able to actually get the money back.
Now, the vet isn't the first person to fall victim. Investigators say the way they ask for payment is usually the dead giveaway, especially if you're asked to send money through a green dot card. Police say reporting these types of scams, no matter how embarrassed you may be, can help them investigate and potentially, in some cases like this one, solve the case.
Another way you can help local police, Tim, Lieutenant Robinson, we're not done with you, is through your weekly Most Wanted Monday. After the break, we see a new batch of fugitives police are looking to get off the streets.
Plus, we learn about a new police-run project that answers the question, what if? Learn how police are helping to keep more young women out of prison. DelmarvaLife will be right back.